Hey, today I'm interviewing the most requested person ever in the history of Father Seekers podcast. We've been podcasting now for over 2 years. Recent rebrand. But this is the most requested person ever to be interviewed here on Father Seekers. She's a little Danish. She's a little Romanian. She's a little fireball. She hails from the 51st state of the United States, Canada. Today I'm interviewing Heather Edgman, my wife. She's amazing. You're going to love her. Stay in tune with what's happening right now. This is Barry with Father Seekers, and this is the podcast, Teach Me to Father. Our little book of secrets is an unfiltered conversation of a fatherless couple, myself and my wife, Heather, opening up the pages of pain and patterns and the breakthroughs few ever talk about out loud. We unpack the hidden impacts of fatherlessness on identity, love, trust, marriage, parenting, purpose, sharing the heartbreaks, the healing, the wins, the wisdom that we had to fight for to learn the hard way. If you ever wondered why you react the way you do, why your love sometimes feels the way it does, or why you love the way that you do, or even when love feels unsafe, or how to build a legacy when you were never given one, this is your podcast. We're just telling you a story about us. We're handing you the secrets we wished someone would have given us so that we would not have repeated the same generational cycles that we were given. Now listen, before your past writes your future, your healing, your clarity, and your legacy can start right now, today. I think that was good.
That's good.
And that brings a little bit of tears to your eyes, because how many miles have we driven and talked about this stuff? Thousands. And how many story exchanges, not before, but after we got married, how many stories have we exchanged about this moment right here? Hundreds. I want you to comment on that little disclaimer descriptor of what this podcast is all about today.
We're just hoping that we can help other broken, fatherless people out there.
Fatherless couples,
individual people, just to give them clarity on experiences that we've gone through before they go through them, maybe prevent them from having to go through them.
Mm-hmm. You've said, I bet 100 times, literally, I want to share my story with as many people, young women, as I possibly can, so that they won't make the same mistakes that I made. Talk about that for a minute.
I just want to prevent somebody to, once they've lived through the experience, to go back in their mind and think, oh, I wish I didn't go through that. I wish I would have known how to prevent it, where to turn, where to get help, before they have to realize they could get help after they had gone through it. So
you're talking now about being preventative, or even having, and we won't get into it today. We'll say that for another time about our parents. Today we're just going to talk about how we met, because that's a huge story, and people who have experienced some of the similarities that we have are hungry to get back into a relationship.
Right.
We were total opposite, but we'll get to that in a minute. But so you're talking about being and we won't talk about our parents today in the story with that, but a little bit insight. You literally learned the hard way. You started your difficult learning at age 18, right?
Well, before that,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah. So maybe even, and we've decided, we'll throw this out. We've decided not to throw anybody under the bus, parents, because we're parents and we know how hard that is, even now with kids who are 30s and 40s. And we're not going to throw exes under the bus. And we're not going to shame, blame, and throw rocks at people. We're going to tell our story, how we navigated together, how we navigated with help that we sought out after all the mistakes. And we're going to talk about preventative, or I would even call it, and I want your feedback, I would even call it legacy groundwork. Like seeking for a spiritual mom or spiritual dad
Right.
or a spiritual advisor that's Christ-like, full of Scripture, full of the Holy Spirit. Talk about that piece, because you shed a lot of tears while we've been driving around talking about that. That was a real pain point in your life.
Yeah. That was because I didn't have one. I gave my life to Jesus when I was 16. Coming from a Catholic background, very strict Catholic background. I went to Catholic school. I went through all the Catholic catechism and all that stuff. And when I did give my life to Jesus, my mom thought I was possessed or something. She didn't know what happened to me. And the girlfriend and her mom that led me was in a Baptist church. She thought that she just screamed out, "What have you done to my daughter?" So eventually she did come to Christ and gave her life to Christ.
That's a good story, but a lot of decisions had been made by you at that time, right?
Right.
Let's not get, we're going to get rabbit trailed.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the early days. That's
You and me.
The name of the podcast today is Our Little Book of Secrets, and the theme for today is like the early days, like pre-meeting, and what I mean by that pre-meeting is like, let's talk about our condition before our conditions as they were when we met each other.
Okay.
You want me to go first, or you want to
go
go?
ahead.
I'll go first. So I was completely broken. I just moved to Green Bay. Sean and Sonny Hennessy invited me up here. So grateful, so thankful to go through a restoration program, because I was in the midst of a divorce. And they said, you need to come up here. You're a pastor. We want to take you through this. We want you to get healed. So I dropped everything, living in Knoxville, moved up here, started for a year. That's all I did. I did Journey to Wholeness. We'll put the little thing in the notes if you're interested. And for a year I did that, and I drove Lyft, which was one of my most favorite jobs in all the world. And then I bumped into you at church, which I was so afraid of anything female at that time that I just kept my head down and just didn't look, didn't talk. And I wasn't afraid of women. I didn't want anything to do with them at that time because I was still grappling with all that had happened. Now, to put this out there, to take down all the speech bubbles, I made a lot of mistakes, missed a lot of cues as a dad and a husband. So I'm not perfect. I'm just saying I came here, I was broken, went through this process. And then I saw you at church, but I didn't really engage with you. Like you had been going to Life Church for 7 or 8 years before I even came on the scene. Anyway, tell me what shape you were in when we first met.
Well, I was equally broken, separated, just in the midst of filing for a divorce. Like you, I didn't want another relationship. I was happy to live the rest of my life as a single person. Obviously, God had a different story to tell. So when I first met you, I didn't even dream that we would ever be together. Just, I don't know, I held you in more of on a higher pedestal because you were a pastor. I had gone through years and years of being broken and pushing God out of my life, blaming him for my hardships.
Yes.
So, like I said, when I first met you, I didn't even think of being with you.
You, as I remember and recall from a lot of these conversations, you had no interest in any relationship.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So you, at the time, you were property management or property manager at the Element over in Ashwaubenon near the stadium,
That's correct.
right?
And that's the only reason why I had enough nerve to come up and talk to you, because you had applied there.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I thought,
Got accepted.
I'm gonna apply for this apartment. There's no way I'll get it because some of the rookie Packers live there and some of the coaches. And I thought, there's no way. There's just no way. And I did. I applied. And again, I'd seen you at church with your sidekick, Nina. Like you guys were ushers and all that kind of stuff. But literally, I just noticed you. But anyway, applied for it. And then what happened?
Then we talked on the phone.
I knew your voice. I recognized your voice.
Told you you got accepted, and then the dates you could move in and everything. And that Sunday after you had been approved, you were in the lobby talking to somebody, and I came up behind you and touched your shoulder and said, "Hi, I'm your new landlord."
Scared the crap out of me. I'll let you know that right now. I was so afraid. And I don't know why it startled me, because I was really hyper vigilant at the time, still am, but somebody came up behind me and I didn't know it. So and then I saw 2 women standing there that I'd never talked to before. And I was like, oh my God, what'd I do? Am I in trouble again?
You didn't respond. You just, okay.
I didn't know. Honestly, I didn't know. So you tapped my shoulder. As I remember, it was not only a tap, it was a little scratch on the back. And hey, I'm your new property manager. And I thought, oh my God.
I thought you were kind of cute at the time.
Thank you. So from there, I moved into the Element. You were property managing at that time. There were 3 buildings, huge deal. And so we would bump into each other at church because we had a familiarity. And then I remember, I think it was me. I said, we should get together and meet up in the thing.
Yes, you stopped in my office one time and said that we should
get Thai.
Yeah.
And get Thai food. We'll go up top. It's a public place. We just...
It was a community.
We were nice people. You were nice. I was nice, which I don't like that word anymore. Another podcast. But we, probably 4 or 5 times, we met up there and had some of the best Thai food, which they've now closed.
Yes.
But
A shame.
I want to go to the story. This is the most important story because this part of our story is like, oh, yes. It sort of awakened something in me. Like I'd given up on being a pastor. I was quitting. I was done. I'd given up. And you begin to tell me the story about your kids and your son Ryan and Amber and Kinsley, and we were sharing my kids, Luke, David, Ben, and then you started talking about your former marriage, and I shared a little bit about mine, and then you went dark on me, and you said, "I've been up here several times and intended to jump off because I couldn't take it anymore." Talk about that. We don't have any Kleenexes, so.
I was just so broken, just what I've been through with my marriage, that I just didn't want to continue with life. I'd given up on God. I still loved God. I just didn't think I was worthy enough for his love. So I didn't think he would come rescue me, kind of thing. So
Right.
I just decided it would be better that I could just end it and not be around anymore.
I remember that. And I thought, look at you.
I came
Sneaky
prepared.
rascal. I remembered, like, my heart was not only broken, but it was grieved. Like, oh my God. I thought my thing was bad. Oh my goodness. So when you told me that, my heart, and I've mentioned this a couple of times in different ways, my heart fell down to my feet. Like, so we kept, like I said, she's not going to jump over the rail on my watch while I'm living here in the element. And at the time I was working at Life Church. I was in and out of town working for Life Church and had come back. And we checked on each other, like, are you okay? And I believe at that time your mom started
Declining.
She got ill and she passed. You went to Canada for the celebration of life. And I remember calling you and texting, or definite text, like, how you doing? What's going on? And then at that time, I specifically remember this. At that time, I was looking at you as a member of the church, a parishioner. This is one of our ladies. This is one of our ladies who serve here. And some of the staff gals called you, and some of the folks at church followed up with you. So, and oddly enough, I probably told you this. Oddly enough, I started seeing life come back into you because people started paying attention to you that didn't need anything.
Right.
They didn't want your money. They didn't need any of your stuff. They didn't need any favors. They just wanted you to be better. And I started seeing life come back. Like when I first met you, you couldn't look up. If you did, you were glancing away, and you always had your hair pulled down in your eyes so nobody could see you. And I started noticing after that you started pulling your hair back and you started looking up. And even I go, she's starting to smile. But I remember that you got engaged more at church. Like you met some more friends. I remember at that time I was on staff. You went to Alpha and hung out with that crazy crew.
Yeah.
And got involved in some other things. So talk about going from, I'm ready to jump off the roof because God doesn't love me and everybody's always trying to take from me. Talk about that transition where you went, there's more to life here. When did that thing click for you? Because I noticed a transition in you and you just shifted.
Just diving more into the Bible, realizing that I didn't have to give to God to get back.
Ooh, talk about that. I don't have to give to God to get back.
that he was there no matter what and loved me, no matter what I'd been through, no matter what I did. He still loves me.
Good.
Throughout my whole marriage, I just gave and gave and gave. And at the end, I didn't have anything left to give.
I remember.
So getting more involved with the church, going to more, like you said, more activities through the church, I just came to realize that God is always there. And he's always loving you no matter what. No matter what you do, no matter what you've been through, he still loves you.
I remember that transition because I stood at the back in church because that was just part of my assignment, like be back there, keep an eye on things, ushers, chairs, that kind of thing. And I remember there was a distinct day. I couldn't tell you the date. Just know it was a Sunday. But like a switch flipped. And the first thing that I noticed about you was how you worshiped. And nobody, like there's nobody in the room but you. And I thought, oh, something's happened. Something good has transpired here. Let's talk about for a minute how important a community of faith is. And then we'll talk some more about that in a minute. But how important was that for you as a broken, abused, drained, fully drained, exhausted, mentally, emotionally, physically woman? How important was a community of faith?
It was very important. Worshiping was always a priority in my life, just because through a worship service, I did give my life to Jesus. So I've always had, I can always feel the Holy Spirit when I'm worshiping, which is just a peace that comes over me. And I feel like, I don't know if you can say worthy of God's love during worship. Just the presence.
Unrestricted?
Unrestricted.
Yeah.
The presence of God in my heart.
You remind me of 2 or 3 Bible characters, good ones. But the one I would probably pick, probably more than anybody, of all the characters, would be the woman with the alabaster box. When you worship, like there's literally nobody in the room. And in the mornings when you're here getting ready, I hear you in the shower and doing all that. So it's like it's become a lifestyle for you. It's like if you don't do it,
I play music when I'm in the shower.
right?
Worship music.
But if you, this whole worship thing, this whole community of faith, but more the worship thing, I think was one of the things that delivered you from darkness.
Okay, but you're falling yourself short, because during that time, you went on a sabbatical. And by then we had...
Was that before the elevator or after? You got to tell the elevator stories. Or I will tell it.
That was
go ahead.
Before.
But is that...
That was after the elevator story.
Wasn't there some more space in there where, like I remember your mom fell ill, you had to go to Canada, you came back, and then you had to go again because she had passed.
My mom fell.
Yeah.
Broke her neck.
Yeah. Yeah. But when you went back to her celebration, you had to reckon with things. As I remember, you had to reckon, and you had to deal with some of the lingering frustrations or hurts or pains. And there had to be a lot of forgiveness that took place there. And we're still forgiving today, aren't we? But talk about the moment when you realized, God had brought you from jumping off the roof to a worshiper to engaged with the body of Christ, engaged with some good, solid friends, to the passing of your mom and celebrating her life, but also initiating this long walk of forgiveness. Talk about how that worked for you, the forgiveness piece.
Forgiveness is hard because you think when you forgive somebody, you forget about what they did. But that's not how it works. You never forget, but you feel more peace in your mind and in your heart, which comes from God, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
Yeah. And you're not as broken. You can get past it and go on with life normally. I don't know what to say.
No, you're fine. You're just you.
It's hard because, like, when I came back, I went through Journey, and that helped enormously. Because when you go through Journey, you go right back to birth, as far as back as you can remember, and work your way
It's
up
really
to
good.
present.
It's really good.
So makes you realize things that trigger you, and you can stop and say, oh, wait, I'm over that. I've forgiven that person. I've moved on. God's brought me through that. So I went through Journey twice, and then we went through an intensive one with just you and me before we got married.
All right. And it was intense.
And it was intense too. Yes. But to go through that, it helped a lot.
So again, community of faith comes into play, like healthy community, people who love, preach the truth, worship God, and are
Not judging.
they love you.
Yeah.
Like they want
So
you.
you can tell them anything and they don't
Right.
judge you or think
So good.
worse of
That's
you,
good.
or you're still a child of God and they love you no matter what you've been through, no matter what you tell them.
That piece is so important in the healing process.
Yes.
Because in the healing process, if you're broken, most of the time people have been disloyal to you. They've lied to you. They've taken from you, and they've done it looking at you, winking and smiling all the day. So when you can open up and trust, especially for a woman who had been through all of this stuff that you had transpired just in the last handful to 2 handfuls of years, how much good feeling was it that you actually found somebody that trusted you and you could trust and loved you and you could love because God was in the center of that?
It's like night and day.
Yeah.
It's like 1,000-pound weight is taken off your shoulders. And it trusts. Once you lose it, it's hard to trust somebody again. So you have to work at it. But once you find it, it's amazing.
Would you say that when you get to that point, that it's easy to open the lid and look inside?
Yes. You don't feel ashamed.
Ooh,
You don't try and bury it, cover
Good.
it up.
look at you.
Yeah.
You, as I remember, you were quite the barrier.
Oh, yeah.
You buried stuff deep and you covered it with the dirt of shame. Like
Truth.
more women. I think it's more for women. I think sometimes you can see it on them. For men, it's like compartmentalized and it comes out in different ways. Yet like I hear women say all the time, I wish my husband showed emotion. He does show emotion. He either does it like this or he gets angry and he blows up. That's emotion. Anger's an emotion. But when you find that place of, I think I've heard people call it before, a place of peace. And I'm not about a safe place. I think that's the most woke.
Yeah.
It's so woke. But I would call it not a safe place because woke.
It's really not a safe place in this world.
Right. But there are sacred places where the Lord is and where his people are. And they're sacred and they're secret and they're protected.
Right.
And they're a place of healing and a place of peace. And you can find people who reside in that place of peace.
Yeah.
Who were a couple of the people that you remember that became that for you in the process? Like when you were going through all the process of healing and journey and all that kind of thing, who were some of the people, just a couple of them, who were impacting on you?
Well, Nina was one of them. She was my go-to friend. Mm-hmm. We hung out all the time.
Anybody ever tell you got a beautiful smile? You do. Actually beautiful. Yep.
There was girlfriends from church, Christina.
Yeah.
You were number one. You're still my number one.
Thank you.
Just others that were in the serving group. Like,
I'm getting at, you can't find those places if you choose to reside in distrust, hurt, and hopelessness.
Right. I never used to go anywhere.
Oh,
I used to be in my apartment.
I remember with that little cat.
And plus, I lived where I worked, so I didn't even have to go out of the building half the time,
Right.
other than if I wanted to get some food.
Right. You were quite the hermit, as I remember.
I was.
And you were a wounded introvert. Now, you're not an introvert now.
No.
You're very extroverted, and because I think you're healed.
I healed, yes, during the process. And I did become friends with tenants.
Yeah. You were, I feel like you were the little pastor of the thing over there, because all of those people would call you with silly stuff. It's like, what? This is like a pastor, like in the middle of the night. Hey, can you come and unlock the door? I left my keys and
during a blizzard at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
So you were quite the servant's heart. Love that. People loved you. You still have friends there. You still hang out with them. Let's jump into another piece. You've already mentioned it, but I think this is super important. Like, as I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, as I remember, it was like a year and almost a half before we indicated any interest in each other. So for that year and a half, acquaintances, friends who lived in the same building.
Every once in a while, have dinner together.
Top, yeah. I went away to sabbatical. Mm-hmm. And then you tell this part of the story really better than I do, but tell this part of it. And then I want to talk about, because I think when people go through what we've experienced, which there are thousands of them every day, there's a hunger to get back into a relationship because there's a void there. And so many times men and women make really bad decisions not to quickly choose somebody, or to not choose anybody, but be with a bunch of people. Both of those are super crazy when you've come out of this. But I want you to talk about how things transpired with us during the sabbatical. It's really a cool story. I think it's really a cool story. But you tell it.
Well, by then we were talking.
We were not dating. Never went on a date.
Nope.
We didn't go on a date after we said, "Hey, we either need to fish or cut bait," and we did it privately and quietly for a year. And we didn't go out on a date for over a year.
Not in public. No.
Not in public. Like, we went up to the roof. We went to We
Take
had,
out most of the
yeah,
on the roof.
yeah. You know, I knew you were the girl for me when you said, "Hey, we got some tide. Let's watch a movie." And I remember I was late from work, and I said, because this was a test. I was like, if I'm here having dinner, like there's maybe a chance of this thing working, and your kindness, it went a long way. But I was thinking, oh my God, she's not a Hallmark girl. Oh dear God. Oh, she doesn't like gooey rom-com. If I hear rom-com one more time, I'm going to throw up. Like I'm literally going to die rom-com. And I said, what kind of movies do you like? She said, I love action movies, Viking movies, and thrillers. And I go, on the inside, on the outside, I went, on the inside, I was going, yes, this is the girl. And the first series that we watched, do you remember what it was?
Viking.
The Vikings. Awesome.
It was awesome.
Awesome. We watched the whole thing, and then we found another Viking thing to watch. So that being said, on the sabbatical, what happened? Tell me what happened.
Well, you left for a sabbatical. You were gone for 2 months. Mm-hmm. You went to visit family to Knoxville, Tennessee, and then for a month, I think, and then went to Dallas for a month, where your sister's sons. Mm-hmm. But when you left, you said we'd stay in touch. And during that time, we were texting back and forth. And then all of a sudden, I started getting music that kind of had a dual action meaning. They were all Christian songs. Evaluate from, can't remember.
Elevation?
Elevation.
Yeah, I couldn't think of, I knew it was Elevate something, but.
A lot from them.
Yeah.
I have to look up songs, but yeah. They had kind of different meanings, like. Dual meanings. And when I sat and really thought about it, I'm thinking, maybe he does like me. Maybe he's sending me hints that, this could go somewhere. So we talked almost daily those 2 months.
As I remember at the time, there was still some residual struggle going on, like getting rid of checking boxes, getting things out of the way, moving the ball down the field, getting it over, dealing with past taxes, and just all of that stuff was going on.
Yeah.
So I remember that, and they were probes to check to see if you had any interest. But I remember the first song that you put a heart on, and I went, this could be good. But it was like I'd only been gone 2 weeks, so it was like another 6 weeks, which I think today it's the most healthy thing that could have ever happened, because we were away from each other. We weren't right up in each other's business. We were distant but connected, and we were sending. Weren't we sending Bible verses with music and a couple of devotionals?
It's a funny thing with texts. You can text things that you would never have enough guts to say face to face. So I really opened up and told you things that I would have never probably told you if you were still there. So yeah, that brought us a lot closer.
I think it was healthy communication.
It was.
And you've still got all the texts and the songs and every one of them. Let's land the plane. You've got a beautiful smile.
Thank you.
I love you so much.
I love you.
Let's land the plane here, and let's talk about, we've talked about being in an accountable community, a community of faith, people who love you, can trust, and who will speak life to you, and they will speak truth to you.
That's so important to have that around you.
Yes, people who don't need you. They don't need anything from you. They want you to be healed.
They'll pray with you.
They pray with you without without needing or wanting.
Right.
And by the way, all those people that we initially, we're really good friends with them. We'll have to hurry, but we'll talk about that. But I want to talk about the practicality of jumping back into a relationship, because we've talked about the importance of community of faith. We've talked about how we functioned in that community of faith and how it brought healing to us. But let's talk to people who are like, they're in the moment on this thing, and maybe it's fresh to them. Let's talk about a couple of things that, the most important things let's give some instruction. Like, what is the most important thing you would say to a gal or a guy if they were in similar circumstances that we met and came through and came out of? And by the way, we sought lots of counsel before we even thought about connecting. But what's an important thing that you would say to a guy and a gal who have had similar experiences, but they really want to get back into a relationship?
Heal yourself first. Forgiveness is a big thing. You have to forgive the other person who hurt you, who got you in that position. And just find a community that you trust and that loves God and that won't judge you no matter what you say to them. Just trust in God. Give it to God first. And He will lead you, and He will heal you, and He will put the right people in your path so that you can find a community.
That is golden. I remember, and I would say basically the same thing. I would say basically just exactly the same thing. Don't rush. Don't get into it. We spent almost 2 years of not any kind of engagement except church and connection and having some meals on the roof. Like, there was no romantic, there was no even consideration. You told me one time, you said, had you come on to me with a romantic thing, that you would have run, because you didn't want to do that and you didn't want anything with anybody that would bring that to the table first.
Right.
I remember that. Like, you were really firm in that.
Yeah.
Let's throw this concept in there, this idea, and let's speak to both the guy and the gal. And I would, again, say exactly what you just said. But let's talk about baggage. We're still unpacking baggage and taking them to Goodwill, to the empty containers for somebody else to use, aren't we? We're still unpacking baggage.
There's emotional baggage you have to unpack.
Right.
And then the past baggage of things.
No matter how much you and I love each other, we still trigger each other. And no matter unintentionally, and no matter how much we try not to, we still do. But one of the things I'm so grateful for is that we went through a process called Journey to Wholeness. And they're not paying us to say anything. They're just great people. They're just wonderful people. Great ministry at Life Church Green Bay. We'll put the thing in the bottom. But we're still unpacking baggage after over 2 years. But we've learned a tool to use. And our processes through going through Journey prepared us for, okay, what just triggered you? I just really messed up with you. I know I did. What triggered you? Well, and then, I could see that. I totally know. And vice versa.
Yep.
That you, 90% of the time when you trigger me, you have no idea.
Right.
Right? But it's our emotions on the mend and on the heel. And it's so important to have that community of faith, but it's so important to communicate that together.
Yes.
Let's talk about one last thing and land this plane. In our relationship, from hello, I'm your landlord, to today, what would you do different?
I don't know if I'd do anything different. Just, it was such a process and a healing process that we went through. I wouldn't have wanted to rush it any sooner, just because the healing takes time. I don't know if I'd do anything different. Would you?
I would. I would have tried to get you in the elevator more than I did. We'll tell that story next time. We'll tell it next time. What I would do, this is what I would do. I would have prepared myself more for you than I did.
Yeah, but you were broken yourself, so
Right.
you had to heal.
But no, I mean, when we got into this thing, like, okay, yes, it's getting real. I would have spent more time preparing me for you. Like, I feel like I dropped the ball with you so many times. Let me ask you this question. The closer you get to God, do you sometimes feel more far away than you ever have?
Certain times, yeah.
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 Why?
Just remembering, maybe remembering past sins and past things that get drug up. I'm sure it's demonic attacks that bring up those things.
Yeah.
And make you feel you're not worthy.
Right.
You're not.
That's good.
Yeah.
I have those similars, but the more, and we've talked about this a little bit, the more we press in to shed stuff and be closer to God with nothing, bringing nothing into it, like just coming in as beloved son, beloved daughter. I feel closer sometimes, but then there are other days that I grieve and lament because I still see there's sin in my life. Or I still see there's stuff behind me.
That, and when you pray and your prayers don't get answered, but they do get answered, but not the way you want them to be answered.
Oh, come on, girl.
And then you realize it was God, and he answered it way better than the outcome you could have ever predicted.
It's really good. That's really good. That's super good.
So you move further away because he's not answering, but then when he answers, you're closer.
You feel convicted. Like, oh, he's such a good father. You know, we didn't talk any about our fathers on this intentionally. Maybe next time I don't know what we'll talk about.
Well, we can talk about our past childhood.
It's your job. It's your job to decide. Yeah.
People under the bus. But
yeah, you know, that'd be a good place. We'll talk about kids. Kids, who we were and our kids today. Hey, this is Barry with Father Seekers, and this is Heather Edgman, my new co-host, girlfriend, lover girl, good cook. She's amazing. Yeah, she drives a hard bargain, but she's a good gal. Hey, if you want to contact us, you can contact us at Heather Edgman at fatherseekers.org and Barry Edgman at fatherseekers.org, and go to the website fatherseekers.org. This is Barry with Father Seekers, and this is Heather with Father Seekers.
Bless you all.
Yep.